What's good, you guys? It's Lifestyle from LifeStyleDidIt.com, and today we are back with episode 2 of beat mixing tips, song mixing tips, you know what I'm saying, just mixing tips in general. Let's jump straight into it. So I'm going to pull up a few of the tips that I have on my Twitter. If you guys are unfamiliar with this series, basically on my Twitter, if you go at LifeStyleDidIt on Twitter, you can find a mixing thread of mine where I just post random, I'll say mixing tips, and there's just a bunch of posts in there. Every day, couple of days, I just drop a bunch of random mixing tips for you guys. So go over there and follow that thread. And then these videos, I go through a couple of them each time and give you visuals of what I'm talking about. So let me get on my phone real quick and choose a few for us to go over. All right, so the first one, mixing tip. Layer a hi-hat on your kick to make it punch through the mix more. Let's get straight into it. Here's the beat. So this works really well on stuff like this, or like on Drake's song, Just Hold On, We're Going Home. You know that there is a hi-hat layered underneath that kick, and it makes it sound more punchy. So we're basically just going to go over to this kick track right here. What we're going to do with this kick is we're going to layer a hi-hat. So that sounds good, but we're going to go over here, and I'm going to get a hi-hat. All right, so let's work with this one. So literally, we're just gonna Control C, Control V, and this hi-hat, we're gonna turn that out down, so it's just gonna be like a little punch, right? And we're gonna slowly bring it in. So if we have the kick by itself, and then slowly bring in the hi-hat, you see it starts to add high end to the kick without actually EQing anything on the kick. So without, with, and if we actually route this straight to the kick and then turn it off, and you want it to be subtle so it's not, super loud, and it doesn't just sound like your normal hi-hat. It sounds like the kick just has this high end underneath it. So if we go play it with the beat, let me turn these off and just let you hear it with the drums first. So this is without the hi-hat, and then with it. And it makes it feel like the kick is punching a lot harder. So if we play it with the whole mix, and then on, each one I'm going to turn it on and off. So this is without, and then right here is going to be with. You'll get what I'm saying. Off, on. So just that little hi-hat layered underneath the kick, you hear the kick punch a lot more, and you're not even doing anything to the kick. So we're going to do it one more time. This is off, on, and it literally just makes the kick it sounds like it punches so much more. On trap beats, this is really good too. Just get a nasty, aggressive, like hip-hop type of hi-hat, and then layer it under and kind of hide it. You can even take out some high end from it and just be using those, high mid-range frequencies from the hi-hat, and it'll help out so much. But you'll get exactly what I'm saying if you listen to tracks like Hold On, We're Coming Home by Drake, or Going Home. That one has a hi-hat layered under, and that kick sounds like it has so much high end, but it's literally just a hi-hat layered. So the next one we're going to do is Broad Bell Boost, 5 to 7K to add presence and snap to your snare, then Shelf Boost 10K slightly. So what that means is we're going to go in here and solo our snare. And around 5 to 7K is where you're going to get a lot of the attack of the snare, the actual snare hit. If we boost this over here, a narrow boost, and then go hunting, you'll see around 5 to 7K, we're going to hear that. So let's find it, widen out the boost, and turn it down. All right, so this one more towards 7. So I'm going to give it a boost right here and then turn it down. Let's do about 3 dB. So before, after. And then we're going to give it a slight shelf boost around 10K. Not too much because this can get ear piercing. So let's go again. Before, after. And if you over exaggerate these, the snare is going to get really thin. So watch. Now it's just too thin. You just want to do a little bit. Be real careful when you're going with high end, way up this high. So in the mix, it's going to sound like this. So this is before, after. Just cuts through so much more. One more time. Before, after. Just literally cuts through so much more. So we're going to do one more. Let me see. I check my phone real quick. Mixing tip used on Isaiah Rashad's The Sun's Triad album. If you guys aren't familiar with that, he signed to TDE with Kendrick. Isaiah Rashad's tight. If you don't listen to him, stop watching this video. So reverse the snare, have it build up to each snare hit, and layer it with an open hi-hat. So if you've listened to that album, you'll hear before each snare comes in on most of the songs, it'll be like each time. So it's just a reverse snare, that builds in to the snare. It's actually really cool. So all we need to do for that is solo our snare. All right, so what we're going to do, actually, let's do it on this one. So what we're going to do is take this snare and we're going to send it. It's right here. We're going to send it to a reverb real quick, and then we're going to take it off after. But let's just cut some of this, boost this out. And we're going to record this in Edison. So you want a reverb so you can have more of a tail that builds up. You'll see what I'm saying. So let's just hit record, press play. All right. Now we could take off this reverb. We don't need it. But in Edison, we have our snare with reverb on it, right? And what we could do now is drag this to the playlist. Call this reverse snare. And in here, now we can reverse it. So when you play it, right? For the sake of time, I'm just going to take this and bring it down here. It's easier to see. So let me reverse this real quick, normalize it so I can see what's going on, turn the volume down, and we're going to literally line this up with this snare hit right here. So you'll see that's pretty cool. It goes straight in. So if we want to, we could cut this, right? Get rid of this and fade this out, or in, sorry. And then turn it down. And if we do these to all of them, all right, let's line this one up. And now we have a snare that builds into a reverse snare that builds into the snare, and actually gives it a cool feel. So if we just solo all the drums to the beat, you'll hear it. Let me turn these on. And then you could actually turn it down more if you want. So we could go in here, fade in, turn it down, and just give it like a cool little reverse feel. And then you could layer an open hi-hat with that too, and it'll make it sound even cooler. So if we go in here, let's just go to one of my kits and get an open hi-hat. And we just drag this in. Hip-hop hi-hat with snare. A hip-hop open hi-hat would sound better, but this one will work. So we'll just kind of give it this vibe. and turn it way down. And just kind of put it here and then turn it down and fade it in. And you can kind of mess around with those. Like I said, the open hi-hats, like the acoustic, you know, hip-hop ones will sound a lot better. But that kind of just gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. The main part of this was just that reverse snare that goes into it. So you'll hear without, with, compared to. So just a few cool, you know, couple tips you guys could do. If you guys did like this video, thumbs it up. You know what I'm saying? You can follow me on all social medias at LifeStyleDidIt. Hit my website for everything else, LifeStyleDidIt.com, drum kits, website design, all that good stuff. Other than that, subscribe to your boy. Thanks.